Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Eclectic Popcast. My name is Britt. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's great to have you here. I thought it would be cool to just kind of do something a little less structured, a little more relaxed, get into some fun topics, some movies and TV that I've watched over the last week, things I would suggest for the weekend. So let's see, I felt like I watched a lot more than is showing up in my watch file. But I watched the Netflix film Noise, which was interesting. It was pretty interesting. The ending made it worthwhile, I will say that. I have a story up on Eclectic Pop if you want to check that out. I'll leave it linked below. And I finished Sky High the series, which was really good. That was the television continuation from the movie, which I actually really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was really awesome. And the show is pretty good. I did not like the lead character, who I actually really liked in the movie. I felt for her a great deal, but in the sequel series, she just, ugh. And another thing that I took issue with regarding the series was the fact that, I don't want to say it because it will give away, I guess, the ending, but let's just say that it's not Game of Thrones, okay? It's not a show where no one is safe, if that makes sense. And if you watch the show, you'll see what I mean. But it's still very, very entertaining. Spanish series, excellently directed and produced, and I really did like the editing that they did. So, that's my review for that. I watched A Week in Paradise, which my mom actually thought was a Lifetime movie. Or, sorry, not a Lifetime movie, a Hallmark movie. She is now on a complete Hallmark movie ban. She does not watch anything on there. And that's a long story, but she won't watch it. Well, long story short, she believes that they have set me up for not unrealistic expectation of romantic relationships, but have caused me to, I guess, I'm a romantic, so I don't blame Hallmark Channel for making romantic movies and making someone feel like, oh, that's possible, that's feasible. But she believes she just feels like I haven't gotten a happy ending, so why should I watch other people and movies get theirs? But I just love seeing other people get their happy endings. I do. I think I watch it and I'm like, oh, I'm so happy for Lacey Chabert. She found a new guy. That's awesome. And it just never gets old for me. I'm sorry. I am that person. I'm watching every Christmas movie. I'm got everything filled up. By the way, Philo, the best way to watch Hallmark movies. You can save them. They all show up in your save file. It's got a really great interface, and that's how I keep up with it. That's what I use. It's an amazing, amazing service. So I did end up watching A Week in Paradise. It was on Starz. It stars Malin Ackerman. She's a great actress and always so fun to watch. The movie, sadly, was not great. Oh, and I forgot. Connie Nielsen, also in the movie. They have really great buddy chemistry. They play cousins in the movie. The movie has a very, how shall I say, unique soundtrack. There's a song about someone taking joy in the fact that their cousin is their best friend, and they literally say, my cousin, you're my cousin. And I'm just thinking, wow, this is oddly specific. This song must have been written specifically for this movie. So it was just kind of it was just a little odd. That was what I say. It was odd. So the movie was basically a music video on steroids. It was, you look at, it's filmed down in the Caribbean, I always forget how to pronounce that. But the locale is very pretty. There is a volcano, which makes me a little nervous. But everyone in the movie seemed cool with it. So, all right, go for it. And it just felt like a music video. Plus, okay, let me explain the whole premise of this movie, because I've gotten way ahead of myself. I've gotten talking about the soundtrack and all that going on. Okay, so Malin Ackerman's character is an actress who is also writing screenplays. And so at the beginning of the movie, I thought she was a screenwriter, but then it turned out that she was an actress. And so I was really confused why she was doing so much writing. But apparently she had one movie that was well received. I thought she wrote that movie, but maybe she just starred in it. I'm very unclear. But long story short, again, I say this commonly, and what do you guys know? It seems to always turn into a longer story. Well, Malin Ackerman's character ends up finding out that her husband has cheated on her, and he's gotten his mistress pregnant, so she's obviously very devastated. She'd always wanted kids. We never learn why she doesn't have kids. It's just sitting there, hanging fruit. I'm like, what happened? Come on, girl, let's hear it. And we don't. So anyway, she goes back to visit her cousin, the one the song's about, and they bond, and she ends up meeting the chef who works at her cousin's hotel. I'm not going to give away the whole movie, but it's kind of, you guys know where it's headed. She meets the chef. She literally is not even a week out from the biggest shock and heartbreak of her life. She meets the chef, and she's like, I'm in love. That's it. I'm good. My heart is cured. It's called a rebound, sister. I do not know why this movie was working so hard to convince us that this rebound was good for her, why it was good for her mental health. I don't believe that it is or was. And maybe I'm saying that because, well, I've always heard that. That's always been something I've heard. And I don't want to bore you guys with my personal life or anything, but suffice it to say, when I've had heartbreaks in my life, it's taken a long time for me to get over. And I haven't been married to anyone, and that has not happened. But it's just, I guess I take relationships very, very seriously. And so I don't know why her cousin's like, oh yeah, do it. Get with the chef. I'm thinking, what is going on here? And then the chef, he's always working. Like, he literally works 24/7, 24 hours a day at this the hotel. And I don't say resort because it's not, when I think of resort, I'm thinking of sandals. And this wasn't like a resort. Like, it was a nice, privately owned hotel, no chain. So, I spent too long talking about this movie. Clearly, it deeply affected me. Let's move on, shall we? I just want to say really quickly, though, he works 24/7. There's no way this man is working 24 hours. And then we find out that he's a father, and his little boy, he's never with his little boy. And he's a single father, and I'm thinking, where is the boy all day? He's 3 years old. I was just really confused by the whole thing. Okay, so let's move on. I spent too long talking about this movie, and talk about one of the best movies I saw this week. Oh my goodness! Again, I on Stars. I watched it on Philo. This movie was so good. I can't stop thinking about it. And I also can't stop thinking about the song that closes out the credits, which is Madison B. Let me just make sure I've got her name right. Yep, Madison Beer. I have never felt more alive. Wow. That's one of the best closing credit songs I've heard in a long time. That's one of the best songs I've heard in a movie in a long time. So, the movie Fall. If you have a fear of heights, I have a fear of heights. I would not let that dissuade you from watching the film. Or I would not dissuade you. I would not let that dissuade you. It sounds like a double negative. Anyway, Fall, two friends. The one friend, she has a climbing. They're both climbers. And at the beginning of the film, there is a climbing accident. And the one girl loses her husband. He dies. He passes away because he falls down. So they know the risk and the stakes of falling. We pick back up with the characters. She's very depressed over the loss of her husband. The other girl who was on the cliff, well, not the cliff, but she was climbing with them. She's totally cool. She says, the best way for you to get over this, again, it's kind of like the cousin in the romantic movie, and these movies couldn't be more different. But anyway, the friend says, let's go ahead and climb a 2,000-foot high radio tower that's getting ready to be torn down. Other girl says, wow, that doesn't sound good to me. She's clearly spiraling with her mental health. And she decides, I'm down, but let me go ahead and climb this radio tower with my friend. Sounds fun. Yay. But they don't tell anyone that's where they're going. The one friend is filming a YouTube video. Gotta surprise the fans, keep them in suspense. And who doesn't tell someone they're going to be there? Well, we wouldn't have a movie. By the way, Denny from Grey's Anatomy, a.k.a. Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Great actor. He stars as the one girl, the widow's dad. He has a very short part, so if you're watching the movie for Jeffrey Dean Morgan, I just want to let you know he has got a very, very small part. Back to the rest of the movie. They get up. Long story short, they end up getting stuck at 2,000 feet. Okay, your palms will be sweating. You might be shaking, and you might be sweating a lot, so I would have another shirt on standby, okay? Possibly some baby wipes. This is a very intense, thrilling movie. I thought the movie Frozen, not the one with Elsa and Anna, the one that came out about the friends who were stuck on the ski lift and they get suspended in the air. Well, I thought that was very intense, very scary, very good movie. But this is Frozen on steroids. This is a crazy... It's a crazy movie. It's there are things that happen that are very unexpected. It keeps you watching. I typically fall asleep around the time that I was watching this movie, but I was wide awake, and so that says something. Very good movie. I don't want to say anything more. It's an hour and 47 minutes. You get a bang for your buck. It came out last year, but I only heard about it when it started streaming, and the poster really caught my eye. I'm going to put it up here for you guys. But when you see that, it just kind of tells you everything you need to know. For some reason, a person with a fear of heights, who also got to the highest point of the Empire State Building somehow, I have no idea. My mom, being the wise woman that she is, she was at the top and said, this is very, very high. But for some reason, I, with my fear of heights, felt so safe. I was looking down and taking video, and maybe it was just because I was enjoying teasing my mom. I don't know. Am I sick like that? I don't know. But it was a really good movie. Other shows of interest this week, I watched the 1998 movie Hush, starring the very topical Gwyneth Paltrow. She's in court this week with the ski accident trial. Very riveting trial. Is it Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard? No, but it's still a very entertaining trial, and I just love trials in general. I watch them. I think they are deeply, as she said at one point, I thought this was really interesting. Her attorney was doing direct, and he said, have you been enjoying yourself? And she said, I would say this has been very educational, or something along those lines. I'm kind of paraphrasing, it's not a direct quote. But she said it was very educational, and I thought, yes, exactly. You learn so much by sitting in a trial. And I don't think Gwyneth Paltrow has ever starred in a legal drama. I don't think she starred in at least a courtroom thing. Not that I recall. I always think that she was in The Devil's Advocate with Keanu Reeves and Al Pacino, but that was actually Charlize Theron. So she was not in that, and that's a courtroom drama. So anyway, we're going to finish off. I'm finishing things off by saying that I watched Autumn in the City, an actual Hallmark movie. This movie was very frustrating. It stars the wonderful Amy Teagarden from Friday Night Lights. Friday Night Lights, watch it if you haven't watched it. Your soul needs the food, I assure you. Well, in this film, Amy Teagarden stars as a young lady who's on the verge of turning 30. Been there, done that. Not great. And she decides with the few weeks of her 20s that she has left, she's going to move from Ohio, desert her parents. Her dad has a lovely little hardware store that she can live and work She can work there for the rest of her days. But does she take the comfort? Does she take the safe? No, of course not. We wouldn't be here. That's the move. So she decides, screw this. Can I say that? Yeah, okay. I just did. And she decides that she is going to move to New York City without a job. And she saved up somehow enough money to stay there for 2 months in a very nice, spacious apartment in New York City. She's like, I'm so glad that I was able to find this. She acts like she's found it on Airbnb. I know that can't be true. But she's got this super great, spacious apartment. Renting a closet size, what is probably the size of your closet in New York City, and living in it is going to be incredibly expensive, let alone what this young lady has. And by the way, I think it's the same apartment that Amy Teagarden was living in that really great Hallmark movie that she did. I think it was called Family Tree, but it's the one where she finds her biological father just in time for Christmas, and she spends Christmas with her long-lost family. It was a really good, unexpectedly good movie for me. And the movie, I just could not stop rooting against this character. I thought, fail, fail, fail. That's what should happen to someone who doesn't plan, who works temp jobs, and has enough money, makes enough money doing temp jobs to, sustain herself in this apartment. I don't think so. Okay, I found the name of the movie. My Christmas Family Tree. Oh, that was really good. That was really, really good. Christmas Class Reunion. That was okay. I'm just happy to see that up here on our database. Heart of the Matter. Oh, my. I still haven't seen that one. That's got my girl Gail O'Grady in it. I got to check that out. Okay. We found another movie. We talked about one that we already watched. So that's all good. So Autumn in the City. People with unrealistic lives, achieving unrealistic things, and then they fall in love with someone who's totally not meant for them. I was rooting against this couple. She meets a guy whose mom is basically Diane Sawyer. I don't know if they meant for his mom, for that character, to be as haughty and arrogant and self-obsessed and narcissistic as she came across. The Amy Teagarden's character, you're a genius, you're a wonder. And I'm thinking, ma'am, she tells herself that in the mirror at least 300 times a day. She does not need to hear you say it as well. I also finished Wrong Side of the Tracks, aka Entrevias, on Netflix, starring Jose Coronado. Watch it if you haven't watched it. Season 2, 10 times better than Season 1, and I really, really liked Season 1. So, very, very fun. And I'm currently binge watching, if you will, the show Rana, Naidu. It is a Indian remake of Ray Donovan, which was a Showtime series. Liev Schreiber and John Voight were on it. So it's a remake, and it's really, 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 really good. And I'm enjoying it quite a bit. And I had to end up leaving. I watched Ray Donovan for the first couple of seasons. I think I made it to season 3. It just got too heavy. It got too dark for me, so I had to check out. But I might end up watching it again. I think it's streaming on Peacock, but I'll find that out. Anyway, it's weird that that version isn't on Netflix, kind of so people can see them side by side. So far, I will just say that the cast is doing an amazing job, and I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm finding it a lot more bingey to watch than the original. I wouldn't have probably watched the original back to back to back like I'm being able to do this show. So I hope you guys are having an amazing week. I hope that you're watching good television. I hope that you take into account the things that I've said or else this has been pointless. And check out some of the other videos here this week. I reviewed HBO Max's subscription, if the movies were worth it or not, if House of the Dragon and Just Like That are worth all, and I get into that. So I'm so tempted to go on about that, but I won't, because that's what the video's for. And talked about The Blacklist, why I haven't caught up with it yet. And check out eclecticpop.com for the latest from the website. Of course, that's where you're going to find it. Where else would you find it? Okay, that's me. Peace out. Hope you all enjoyed the broadcast, and have a great week.